Good day again, everybody. We welcome you to another edition of Grilling the Birds, brought to you by Inside the Birds. I'm Derek Gunn, along with that crazy guy there, Trey Thomas. Trey, of course, the Eagles are coming out of their bye week, but a story that I broke on Tuesday, one of the Eagles coaches tested positive for having COVID. Now, the Eagles are keeping this close to the vest. They're not really telling who the coach is. But this much we do know. The team will continue to practice on the field, but all meetings will be virtual leading up to their Sunday showdown against the New York Giants. How much could this have an impact on getting ready for a game against the Giants?
I don't know. I mean, as long as you can get the practice time in on the field, I don't understand why they have it this way where it's like, okay, you know what, you can practice, but you know what, meetings, you can be all in everybody's face out there on the field. But when it comes to meetings, we have to do that virtually. So I really don't get why they have it like that. I guess you want to limit. I know you want to limit the exposure. But if it was about limited exposure, you wouldn't have them practicing with that coach anyway, just because of all of the contact and communication that has to go on between coach and player on the field. So if this is the way they have to do it, I mean, you just have to follow whatever the protocol is and just try to get through this and get on to the game.
Now, we know defensive back Marcus Epps tested positive for COVID last Thursday. Eagles are now in, obviously, the COVID protocol, so to speak. But I'm a little bit surprised, whereas other teams will basically tell you which coach or which player that it is that is tested positive. I don't understand why the Eagles are keeping this quiet right now.
You know, it seems to me like whoever it is over an extremely important position that maybe you don't have the proper backups to cover it, possibly. So I don't know. You know, they just trying to keep this under wraps and trying to get through it. I like you said, every other team has been extremely forward with who all has come up positive with all the testing and everything. But now all of a sudden we're all hush hush with it.
So the Eagles are coming out of their bye week. They're 3-4-1. They are leading their division, but man, the rest of this schedule is filled with many difficult obstacles that they will encounter. But to a certain degree, you have to wonder this with any team, is there a possibility a bye week hangover could be looming?
The possibility is there just because these guys really, all you did was just stay home. You didn't really get a chance to go somewhere and rejuvenate or kind of relax. All you could do is just stay home because you had to stay here to continue to get tested, to make sure that you don't have anybody coming back positive. So, you know, the possibility is definitely there for them to come back with a little bit of this bye week hangover, you know, because you didn't never really get a chance to go anywhere to just cut loose and relax. You still had to come in every day and get tested. You had that whatever practice that they had in the middle of the week. So is that enough? Hopefully it's enough for these guys to come back fired up, but I really don't know.
You know, it's interesting. The Eagles have ridden that proverbial roller coaster through the first 8 games of the season, and Doug Peterson, obviously not happy, made them practice last Wednesday on their bye week. I was told basically it was a walkthrough. How much can you accomplish in this walkthrough? Now, if you'd have said maybe they went through some things a couple of days, okay, but just a one-day walkthrough? Because basically you're getting away after that. You're clearing your head. You're not thinking football for the next few days after that. Are you really accomplishing anything?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if you were going to just have them come back just to do a one-day walkthrough, it probably would have been better to just go ahead and give them that week off and let them just kind of recharge and get away from the game. But instead, you bring them back on Wednesday just to have a walkthrough. Was it really worth it? I don't know. Hopefully, we shall see coming up to this game. Now, my question is, was it full participation?
Yes, it was, from what I've been told.
Yeah, well, no one could go anywhere anyway. So, you know, so there you go. You have a full participation walkthrough. Was it worth it? Hopefully it will. Only time will tell. Mm-hmm. But to me, I mean, to bring everybody in just to do a walkthrough, I don't know if it was really, you know, what's going to come out of that.
Mm. As we approach this stretch run now, the big question that's out there is, which Carson Wentz will we see the rest of the way? Will we continue to see the inconsistent Carson Wentz who has 12 touchdown passes and 12 interceptions? Or has Carson learned his lesson? Has that bye week help him clear his head and get refocused and maybe play like that Carson of a couple of seasons ago? But I thought it's interesting because a lot of fans through the first half of the season have soured on Carson Wentz. Heck, even Hall of Famer Brett Favre came out on Tuesday and basically said he would have kept Nick Foles over Carson Wentz. Here's what Brett had to say.
I actually thought that they should have kept Nick Foles rather than Carson Wentz, just based off of production and where they got to. You know, they won a Super Bowl with Foles, and that was a little bit surprising. But they're obviously banking on his upside. You know, how many more years do you let it linger before you stick with him or you cut bait? That's a question they only can answer.
All right, so I thought that was interesting that Brett Favre, of all people, who does have a relationship with Doug Peterson, Doug Peterson says he came out and said he respects Brett Favre's opinion. Hasn't talked to Brett yet, but respects Brett Favre's opinion. But Carson Wentz has endured a lot of criticism, and now you got people on the outside, prominent people on the outside looking in, saying, I would have taken Nick Foles over Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has a lot of soul searching to do right now.
You know what, man? That is tough, especially when you know, as Brett Favre, he knows that Carson has spoke highly of Brett Favre throughout his career, just saying, hey, man, you know, I've always looked up to Brett Favre, you know, throughout my career, you know, as a young athlete and everything. And for you to come back and just speak out against him like that, you know, that's got to be tough. You know, it's for an athlete to have someone that you admired throughout your time playing and coming up, to hear them say, you know what, I would have much rather them kept your backup instead of you.
Yeah.
You know, you know, that's a tough pill to swallow. And, you know, that's almost like a family member, like your mom saying, you know, hey, you know, they should have kept that Nick Foles. I mean, you know, what are they doing keeping you, son? I mean, you know, that's a tough pill, you know. I mean, yeah, I can imagine. I didn't really have like any idols growing up as athletes. You know, I just came up and played the game. But, you know, that has to be tough as a player to hear that. And this is just another thing that Carson is just going to have to swallow that pill and just keep trucking along, you know, and that's tough.
You know, there's a lot of Brett Favre in the Carson that we're seeing in 2020. That gunslinger mentality. You'll make a great play, and all of a sudden you'll make a boneheaded play. That was Brett Favre's tenure throughout his entire career. Now, obviously, he got to the Hall of Fame playing this style of quarterback. But we're starting to see that with Carson Wentz a lot. So I asked the question, from this point on, moving forward, do the Eagles coaching staff continue to allow Carson to be Carson, the Carson that we've seen, or do you kind of rein him in, narrow down the playbook? Well, quarterback coach Press Taylor recently spoke about the Carson Wentz that he wants to see from this point on and that he expects to see.
Well, it certainly is a fine line, like you said, that's something we're always going to toe. And that's the way he's played. That's the way we call games. Is we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be bold in our approach. We're going to take our shots when we feel like the situation calls for that. But as a quarterback, you know, nothing will ever trump ball security. And so that's something we will always talk about, whether it is we're directing him to push the ball down the field, it's an out-of-pocket decision that happens later in a down, whatever it is, ball security will always be a premium. And that's something we continue to talk about. So, yes, we want Carson to be aggressive. We're never going to, you know, take a stinger out of him and let him continue. We're not going to rein him back in like that. But he has to understand, and he does, that the ball is the priority. And we're always going to do whatever we do, whether it's being aggressive, whether it's a directed shot, out-of-pocket decisions. Like I said, we always want to make sure we're conscious of ball security first.
All right, Trey, that was Press Taylor. He says all the right things, but I wonder how much of an influence does he even have on a Carson Wentz?
To me, it doesn't seem like, you know, we all know the relationship that they have, you know, where it's more of a friend and coach type of situation where, you know, they go to dinner and they hang out, you know, they go to, you know, they fill up my daily crumb, and go feed some people. You know what I'm saying? They have a special type of rapport. But then when it comes to the coaching part of it, it doesn't seem like, you know, that it matches the tone that he's doing in this interview. You know, in this interview, he kind of gave an aggressive tone, like, yeah, you know what? It's unacceptable for the ball to go this way. It's But then when it comes to game time, where's that same aggression? Where's that same energy? You know, when Carson throws an interception, he walks off to the sideline. There's no one around him. It's just he and Hurts. They all in Sudfeld. They all huddle up around their Microsoft tablet like it's a nice little warm campfire, and they all sit around and just hang out. Where's Press Taylor during those times? Even Doug doesn't even come over and say anything to him. Mm-hmm. So where's that aggression? And then what in the hell are you talking about when you say you're going to take this? We don't want to take the stinger out of him. What is that? Is he a bee? Is he a scorpion? Like, what is that? Like, what do you mean? I don't want to take the stinger out of him. All right, I believe that every player wants to be coached. And, you know, to me, I as a player, I wouldn't want somebody getting on the media, getting in front of the cameras and then sounding a little aggressive. But then when it's time to talk, we don't have that same energy. So I don't know. You know, to me, I think that you kind of have to have a situation where it's more of a coach than friendship. Because, I mean, to me, you know, I just look at the relationship I had with Juan. And I was with Juan for 11 years. Never. Well, now, we would have dinner as a group, but nothing where it was like, hey, man, you know what? Hey, let's go hang out for a little bit. No, there was none of that. You know, just because there is a line that has to be, you know, that you don't cross between player and coach. Now, there can still be a good relationship, but you don't necessarily have to be best buds and you know, and hanging out all the time, you know, because if it's like that, then correction becomes a little, you know, you tend to not be so aggressive when it comes to correction time.
What was that sound you made a few minutes ago?
Wait, when it was aggressive, you know,
that sounds like the sound you make when your kids leave you the 2 end pieces of the bread based on that picture you put on Twitter. I know how you feel because that drives me nuts.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, they left me, you know what? The best tweet.
I like the ends, though. I love the ends.
Yeah. Somebody said they left me the guardians of the loaf.
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. That's pretty good. I got to use that one.
the guardians of the loaf. They left me the guardians of the loaf, man.
All right. Getting back to the task at hand. When we listen to Carson, he says all the right things when he talks about the errant interceptions, the overthrows, holding the ball too long, but he keeps doing it. And so I wonder, can he be reined in? Do you rein him in? Do you narrow down the playbook to minimize the possible mistakes that he could make? Is he really trying to get better? Is he just giving us all lip service because he's constantly asked these questions week in and week out this season?
Yeah, but he keeps saying, he's being asked these questions every time, but he keeps saying, look, I'm going to continue to pull the trigger. I'm going to continue to be the way I am. This is how I am. This is the player that I am, you know? But, man, when you got $100 million guaranteed, you can talk like that. Sure. Imagine. And I was thinking about this. What if Lane Johnson had given up 16 sacks that turned into turnovers?
Benched.
You know, what if Darius Slay had gotten beat 16 times for 16 touchdowns in a game, and he just gets on camera like, hey, man, you know what? Hey, I saw something, I went for it, and this is just how I am.
Yeah.
Benched. But when you got $100 million guaranteed, and you have somebody that's not really, and that's Jalen Hurts that's in waiting, that they haven't given really, you know, the playbook to, and they don't want to have another quarterback controversy, you can get in front of the camera and say that. Well, he's just like, hey, man, look, this is just how I am. You know, I'm going to continue to pull the trigger. I'm going to go and play my game. And then that's when you have a coach get in there. Hey, Carson, listen, how did you see it? I think I saw what you were thinking, but we got to kind of be a little bit more careful with the ball. What do you think,
Right.
Come on, man.
Well, help could be on the way for Carson. Isaac Seumalo has come off IR. If he's back on that left-sided guard, how much does that help stabilize the left side of that line?
You know what? It could be good, but I mean, it's not like Nate Herbig was a problem over there. So
Okay.
now we went from having no depth to now you have too much depth. So it's good that we have Isaac coming back within that 21 window frame, even though they did the same thing with Jason Peters and he started that same week. So I don't know if you're going to do the same thing with Isaac just because he's coming off of a knee injury. You're going to see where he is, but it's not like Nate Herbig was a problem. So it's good to have Isaac back. And now it's like, okay, now what are we going to do? Does that mean that Matt Pryor is going to be the odd man out? Because you already have Jordan Mailata going to be going back to the bench if Lane Johnson can come back. So now if you have Isaac stepping in, then now what's going to happen with Nate Herbig? Are you going to push him back over the right guard? Again, this is just another musical chairs among that offensive line.
I don't think Matt Pryor figures into the primary equation. When you go back to the beginning of the season, he was an afterthought when they were really hurting for offensive linemen. He's only played when it's been absolute necessary. I don't know why. I don't know how he fell off from last season when everybody was applauding and singing his praises for the yeoman's job he did against Seattle in that playoff game. But Matt Pryor, to me, has been an afterthought throughout this campaign.
Yeah, and I think when you put him out of position and you keep switching sides, a lot of when it comes to players, a lot of what we do is off of confidence and feeling comfortable. And when you have a player that's bouncing from, all right, right guard to, okay, we're going to put him at right tackle, then now we're going to put him over the left tackle. And when they put him over the left tackle, they said Josh Sweat jersey should be hung in Canton from the practice that he had out there in that time. So that destroys your confidence, when you go out there and they say, all right, this is going to be a padded practice, and Josh Sweat just had a day against him. I mean, that has to destroy your confidence. And then you're like, all right, well, we're going to put you back over here on the right side. All of that mixing around, that doesn't help when you're trying to get comfortable and get ready for something. And here you go, you move him around, and then he's trying to figure it out again. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, just with all of the new guys that are coming. Well, not all the new guys, all the guys that are coming back. How are they going to play this into FanDuel? Because now you got Jordan Mailata, who was making big strides. He might not even see the field right now.
Right. Lane Johnson, nobody benefited from this bye week more than a Lane Johnson dealing with the MCL and ankle issues. But I'm inclined to let him sit this game coming up against the Giants and get him ready for those 5 consecutive games against 5 teams with winning records that are vying for playoff spots. I don't know how you feel about it, but as much as I would like Lane on the right side stabilizing, I can put Mailata over there. I can get other help over there. Any additional rest he can get on that MCL and that ankle is a huge plus down the stretch.
Absolutely. I could see that happening where you can kind of go ahead and give Mailata this start just because against Dallas, he showed that he could play the position. He showed that switching over to the right side wasn't a problem for him. He only gave up the 1 sack where he, it was a technical issue where he jumped out there on the defensive end. He set a little too flat. DN took him back inside for the sack. So that's something that he's going to have to continue. Those are the lumps that he's just going to have to continue to take on as he progresses through this. But, at least he showed that switching over isn't that hard. It's something that he can handle. Now, The question is how much more can JP give you? Because you never know, okay, if you don't dress Lane, and if for whatever reason because JP almost went down in the first half of this game. So, do you need to continue to have Lane? If Lane is healthy, I would say, hey, man, go ahead because you never know what's going to happen on the other side. So you might need Jordan out there because I'm thinking you're going to have to dress 8 guys for moving forward throughout the rest of this season.
I can remember earlier in the season when Doug Peterson said, have you ever tried to keep Lane Johnson off the field? I'm like, whoa. I'm the head coach here.
Yeah.
You know what? I love your warrior mentality, but you have to understand this bigger picture here. Sit your behind down on the bench. I mean, I understand you want to play. I respect that. That's a leader right there. But you know what? I'm thinking about the long-term best interest of this team. Sit your behind on the field, man.
Yeah, and see, that shows you kind of where this team is, where the players kind of, it's –
to me, the inmates are running the asylum. Has it gotten to that point?
Are
we at that point?
I never really was a big fan of that term, but you know what I'm saying. But it feels like the players they have a lot of say in what's going on instead of it just being the coach say, hey, look, man, hey, whoa, I get that, but I need you to sit. Because all of this going in and out of the game, you tried, then now you're out. It messes up the whole chemistry on the offensive line. So either you can go or you can't. Because offensive line isn't like any other position out there on that field.
Right.
Once you start that game, you play from the beginning to the end. That's it. There is no, hey, tap out. I need 3 or 4 plays here and then come back out. You start the game, you come out once the game is in hand and we can sub in a couple guys. But all of this bouncing back and forth, that doesn't help with the cohesion of the group.
We have not seen Miles Sanders on the field for several weeks. He could be back this week. That's a huge bonus for that backfield, not just in the running game, but obviously in the passing game as well.
Yeah, I think that having Miles, even though Boston Scott has been doing a heck of a job.
Yes, he has.
He whenever he gets these little opportunities, he always shows some really good flashes, but it will be good to get Miles Sanders back into it if he's completely healthy, because I don't want to run the risk of getting a Miles Sanders back and then we have another hamstring issue or whatever it is that sidelines him for a couple more games. I would much rather him be all the way healthy before you even take this chance.
Alshon Jeffrey practicing again this week. He's been practicing for weeks. I've been told that there's a good chance he could play this Sunday. But he's been a no-show up to this point. I mean, something's not right here, Trey.
What do you want?
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead, say it.
I have nothing. Because I really don't even factor him into the game plan. I mean, for real. It's all right, cool. Hopefully, all right, awesome. Let's get him back. You know what? Good.
all right. So you just want to leave it at that? Cut.
Yeah, what do you want? Because they're saying, all right, yeah, he might be ready to play, but then they could on Thursday or Friday, hey man, he sprained his pinky toe, so now he's down. So awesome. Let's get him out there if we can. If not, all right, keep moving. Because where is he going to factor into the equation anyway? You're not going to take Travis Fulgham out of there. You're not taking Ward out of there.
You could take Hightower out. I hate to say it, but you could.
But he's the one that's going to stretch the field. That's your speed guy.
No, well, Jalen Reagor. You got Jalen Reagor back.
Yeah, and Jalen Reagor. So you're not. Yeah, exactly. So who is Alshon going to take reps from?
You paying that
JJ
man an awful lot of money.
Whiteside. He doesn't.
You paying that man a lot of money. You gotta get him on the football field.
Well,
give him some reps.
If it was that serious, they would have been got him out there.
Well, we don't know that for sure. Now we're assuming. Trey, that plantar fasciitis is nothing to joke with, man. Matter of fact, that was one of the reasons.
Fasciitis.
I know, but that was one of the reasons Dawkins ended his career when he did. He had it more than once.
Man, I had plantar fasciitis when we played against San Fran a couple years back when Mike Patterson scored that long touchdown when he tucked the ball into his love handle and he took it like 90-some yards. I got plantar fasciitis that game. And I would drive up to New York every Tuesday to have my foot zapped with some machine. It was the worst feeling I had for like 45 minutes, just get my foot zapped. And then I would take a car back down here and then get back into practice. So, you know what? I'm like the wrong person to talk when it comes to injuries and stuff.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I'm like, man, spit on it. Let's go.
All right. We're gonna step aside right now and take a pause for the cause, because this Sunday will truly be a Sunday like no other. With this weekend's major golf tournament, along with professional sports and collegiate football as well, there will be no shortage of action. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook, wants to put you in the center of the action with so many different ways to make it rain. If you haven't tried the app, head to the App Store right now because you don't want to miss out. Now, to celebrate Sunday's action, DraftKings is ensuring all new users are covered up to $100. That's right. You bet, they cover with risk-free Sunday betting on all of Sunday's action. Now, this weekend, there's plenty of action to get in on, so head to the App Store right now and start making it rain. Now, one of the key matchups in the NFL this upcoming Sunday, big showdown in the NFC West. Seattle at the Rams. The Rams are coming out of a bye. Seattle got embarrassed at Buffalo last week. Rams going into this game is 1.5-point favorites. I would imagine that line is going to fluctuate between now and then. Now, getting back to the task at hand. On top of those great sign-up offers, DraftKings will have special promotions and odds boosts every day of this year's tournament in Augusta, Georgia. DraftKings is safe, reliable, secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. So, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use the promo code ITB when you sign up to get this can't-miss offer. DraftKings Sportsbook is ensuring your Sunday bets up to $100. That's right. You bet, and they cover up to $100 when you use the promo code ITB during sign-up for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, we're going to get back to talking about the Eagles specifically, and more importantly, Brandon Graham on the defensive side. 7 quarterback sacks up to this point, 8 games ago. He is well on his way to have his first ever double-digit sack season. All I'm hearing right now, and I would raise my hand and agree in unison, is Brandon Graham is having a Pro Bowl season right now. You agree or disagree?
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, BG has been balling. I think he has been laying it out there on the field. And out of those 7 sacks, how many of those have been sack fumbles? I mean, at least 3 or 4 of them. So, I mean, he has just really been relentless. I mean, this has been one of his better seasons. If he continues to keep posting these numbers, I can see this being a Pro Bowl season for him, you know, because when it comes to the defensive end position, like it or not, it's all about the sack total. It's all about the sack numbers. So right now, with them at 7, that does put him up there in that upper echelon when you're talking about the defensive sack leaders. So hopefully he can keep that going, because right now, Aaron Donald has 9, you know, so hopefully he can keep posting those numbers, and because right now he's 3rd right now in the league in sacks. So hopefully he can keep that going, man. You got to keep that going.
Are you surprised at the age of 32 that he's playing some of his best football? Usually this is when you start to see a lot of players decline in their abilities, but he seems to be getting better as he gets older.
Yeah, I mean, he's just playing hard, and you know, and BG has been coming out there. He has that energy. He has a relentless motor, and he just keeps coming at him, man. And, you know, that's really good for him. I hope he just keeps these numbers up, stays healthy, and keeps plugging along. And you can tell, like, he's playing with a different focus, man. You know, over the past couple of years, you've known BG just throughout the years, and just seeing how he's developed throughout the years, and you can see that there's been a lot of maturing that's been happening. So, you know, it's good to see him here, and that I just hope that he continues going, man.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that Brandon and I have talked about is that he's having fun. You know, you always talk about football at some point becomes more of a business than it does a game because of all the money involved. But for Brandon Graham, you know, he has his money. He has his legacy here in Philadelphia. And for him, it's about having fun. He's kept his body healthy. When you've watched so many players fall by the wayside for this Eagles team, he has somehow, some way found a way to sidestep all of those injury landmines, and he's out there having fun. He's leading by example. He's talking more in the field than he ever has. Nobody can out-talk a Brandon Graham in a football field. And so let's just keep your fingers crossed, because he has been their best and most consistent defensive player in 2020. All right, now one of the biggest glaring problems on this Eagles defense has been linebackers covering tight ends. How does Jim Schwartz find a way to compensate for the linebackers' inability to cover tight ends when you consider coming up the second half of the season, they still have to face Evan Ingram again. You have Austin Hooper with Cleveland. You have Greg Olsen you're going to have to face, and you've got Jared Cook as well. What do you do to compensate for that?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a very intellectual answer, by the way.
Yeah. I have no idea, because you haven't had any chance, any opportunity to stop it. Whenever we had guys out there, I do not know. Maybe you're going to bring Jalen Mills down there to kind of help out a little bit. Or are you going to rotate your safeties? I don't know. You know, that's going to be the question, because the tight ends have been lighting them up, and you cannot put Slay on a tight end, you know, just because the receivers can light you up. So, and the linebackers, I mean, you're still trying to find consistent linebacker play. So that's going to be the challenge moving forward because, I mean, that's what's really been hurting them throughout the season.
All right, now we have reached the favorite part of the show for you because you now get to do a little promo and give Manscaped some props.
Oh, yeah, man. Hold on, man, because you know what? I checked my mailbox, and look at this. Look what I received. I received
What?
a Manscaped. Yeah, man. I got you covered, though. We got you covered. Don't worry about it.
Hey, don't use that on camera. Don't you do it. Don't
What?
you even think about that. Don't you use it on camera.
We're going to talk about some stuff, man. Autumn is in the air, and Manscaped is here to ensure you don't carve your pumpkins while grooming. By pumpkins, we actually mean your boys downstairs. In fact, Manscaped is on a mission to change the way you approach caring for your undercarriage. UK, Canada, and Australia, in the Great Down Under, of course. So you can't forget about the best trimmer for your BBB, butt, balls, and body. And what I'm talking about,
balls on a family show.
the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer offers a replaceable ceramic blade with advanced skin-safe technology. And when you turn that thing on, look at that light right there.
Oh, man.
So you can see what you're trimming, man. So, all right, so they had the skin-safe technology, which leads to reducing grooming accidents. Their new Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer uses the same skin-safe technology when you're trimming those delicate nose hairs of yours. The Crop Care Kit includes Crop Preserver. Look at this. The Crop Preserver is an anti-ball chafing deodorant. Everyone knows how pumpkin spice lattes and ball deodorant go hand in hand. The Crop Care Kits also includes a Crop Cleanser body wash, a full body wash that you can also use on your hair. Crop Mops. Boom. Look at that. There you go. Crop Mops, ball wipes. You never know when an opportunity strikes, so you should always be prepared. Plus, you don't want to stink when you're sitting around that Thanksgiving dinner. If you suffer from stank foot, look at this right here, man. Stank foot. They even got you foot deodorant that's made with cooling tea tree oil. So that it offers a pleasant experience for the stankest of feet and allows you to take your shoes off with confidence. The Manscaped's redefined cologne is a cost-effective way to smell clean and fresh for your date. The Crop Cleanser hair and body wash is designed with aloe vera and sea salt to leave your skin clean, fresh, moisturized, and reinvigorated. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free. So you know your manhood is in good hands. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code. What is our promo code for this?
ITB? Oh, no. That's my promo
Grillin
code.
the Birds. I don't know. I forgot what the promo code is. But when you use the promo code is Trey, TRA. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code Trey. Again, all right? Again, one more time, just because I messed that up. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the promo code Trey, TRA. Make your balls a priority this fall. They will thank you.
Are you done?
Yes.
Do you get paid extra for adding extra energy to this read?
No, that's just how I do it, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like this is how we do, man. Manscaped at manscaped.com. All
right. Let's get back on track because you already said certain words. You said certain words that you shouldn't be saying on the family show. Then what did you say? The stinkiest of feet? I've never heard of
the stankiest of feet.
The stankiest of feet.
Yes.
Never heard that before. I got to put that in the dictionary. All right.
Yes.
Anyway, big game. You know, is that a headlamp?
No. That's the
you put that up here like this?
3.0.
with the
LED light.
You don't put it up here like this when you go there? No. Yeah. All right. Get back on track here. Football.
Yes.
Tough road to hoe coming up here.
Yes.
So we have 8 games in the book, 8 games to go. Give me your top 3 concerns as we continue down this road of 2020.
Protection, number one. We need to protect Carson at all costs. Right now, we're leading the league in sacks and quarterback hits. That's going to be number one. Number two, Carson needs to take care of the ball. All of these turnovers. I mean, he's had 12 interceptions. I think maybe 2 of them have been called off due to penalty, and he had 7 fumbles and lost 4. So, I mean, to have 16 turnovers in 8 games, you got to take care of the ball. We got to get these turnovers because you're hurting yourself. So I would say protection, turnovers, and then just for, the defensive side of the ball, figure out how we're going to handle tight ends. Like, as you say, we moved on. Yeah. You have some really good tight ends over these next stretch of games. How are we going to handle that? Because, I mean, that's something that's been hurting this defense. We're still trying to figure out our linebacker play. So this is going to be something that we're going to have to continue to fast forward, moving on to these next 8 games.
For me, number 3 is defensively, Jim Schwartz has to unleash the hounds. Mm-hmm. You're number 3 in the NFL in quarterback sacks with 28. Look at your next 6 games. Now, Daniel Jones has been sacked 28 times already. Obviously, they've had some offensive line issues, but they're getting Will Hernandez back this week. That helps stabilize the Giants' offensive line. But Daniel Jones can be rattled. Now, my concern is Russell Wilson. You know what he can do. He's been sacked 24 times, all right? Mm-hmm. Now, but Russell is going to get you. You can get him, but he's going to get you. But you got to keep Russell moving. Don't let that man stand back there and pat the ball. Now, these other 3 quarterbacks, here's what's interesting. Baker Mayfield has only been sacked 11 times this season. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers has only been sacked 9 times this season. Drew Brees and Kyler Murray have only been sacked 10 times this season. Mm-hmm. Now, all different quarterbacks, but all dangerous in their own right. You cannot let these quarterbacks get in a groove and do what they want to do because it's going to be a long day, not just for your defense, but your team overall. So that's number 3. You got to unleash the hound. Jim Schwartz, I don't care where you bring him. Bring him from the stands, bring him from the parking lot. I know it's not many people in the stand. So, your players got clear-cut vision from the stands down. I don't care where you bring. You got to bring the heat. Number 2, Doug Peterson's play calling. You have to be better at play calling. Better at deciding when you want to go for 2-point conversion. Better deciding when you want to go for it in 4th down situations. Doug Peterson, you've admitted that you have to do a better job. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I want to see it. Number 1 concern moving forward is, will the real Carson Wentz stand up? I don't want to see Carson Wentz overthrowing balls by 10 miles when you got a receiver wide open. I don't want to hear about him missing a wide receiver and throwing an interception on this side of the field. I don't want to see 16 more turnovers from my quarterback in 8 games. I don't want to hear about it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to throw an interception. Just make it look good. Don't make it so egregious when you do it. Please, I can't take any more of it. All right. That's my concern. All right. Now, we got the Giants coming up.
Yes.
Giants at the bottom of the NFC East, but the Giants have been playing a lot better. The Giants just held on and beat that Washington football team. But here's what's interesting about the Giants. Their last 5 games, they have lost by 3 points or less every game. So the Giants are getting there. And as you heard me say time and time again, the defense has not been a problem with the team. It has been the offense. But now the offense is getting better now, okay? You look at what they have around them. And they've already thought about this. Now, Trey, you've been on this end of it before. A team that nobody expected you to beat, you came within 1 point of beating that team. If it wasn't for that Evan Ingram drop, we're talking about a different outcome in that game. So, they spent all week talking about we have them in our backyard this time. Mm-hmm. We can beat them. Isn't that the mindset? Shouldn't that be the mindset of the Giants going into this game?
Absolutely. I mean, because you are on a 1 catch away from winning this game. I mean, you had our defense dead to rights. The ball just slipped out of the tight end's hand, and then now here you go. So this is going to be something. And you had a team that's starting to play with a little bit more fire. They're starting to play with a different type of energy. They're playing with a different style of aggression. So we're going to have to not only set the tempo, but exceed their response. You're going to have to make sure that we're the tone setters and not the ones that's responding. So, hopefully coming out of this bye week, that we don't have this little bye week hangover, that guys come back on fire and ready to take it to a team and not have to get warmed up to get back into their rhythm. Because that's always kind of a problem when you come out of bye week, because it throws off your timing sometimes. So hopefully this isn't a situation where this team at least comes back ready to go, recharged, ready to rock, and let's go. Because, I mean, New York right now is playing some good football.
And if I'm their head coach, Joe Judge, I'm thinking, look here, our record's bad. But look, we're not that far from the top. Look at how close we are to the Philadelphia Eagles. Big divisional game. We're still very much in this divisional race, as bad as our record is right now. If that's not enough added motivation, I don't know what is. I'm just saying, you shouldn't even play the game,
Exactly. So, I mean, this is one of those games that, that yes, you are right there. You're right. It's everything that you're looking for is right there in reach. So, let's strike. And, hopefully this team, the Eagles are going to come in ready to rock.
All right. What's the one thing that Jim Schwartz and their defense should have learned that they should carry over into this game about defending Daniel Jones?
That he's way faster than what we think.
Oh, yes.
He's way faster than what he looks. I mean, we cannot let him get outside. You need to make sure that guys play discipline football, and don't try to get greedy and try to make a play. And then now you got that quarterback out there in the open field, because we have absolutely nobody that can catch him on the defensive side of the ball. Nobody that can catch him if he gets in the open field.
That's
so
embarrassing.
all you can hope is that there's a line out there on the field that can trip him. But other than that, you need to make sure that you keep him bottled up, because if not, we have nobody on the field that can catch it.
Look at the Giants' running attack. Wayne Gallman, Alfred Morris, they're not Saquon Barkley. We still don't know the status of Devonta Freeman. But when I look at Gallman, he's been averaging 4.4 yards per carry. Alfred Morris, 5.6 yards a carry. The Giants don't have a powerhouse running game, but they have some running backs that can do some damage to a defense.
Absolutely. I mean, when you go back and you look at the game they just played, I mean, they were running the ball really nice, getting some nice chunk plays. So that used to be the bread and butter of our defense. Like, look, I don't care whatever you bring to us. You're not running the ball on us. So hopefully that mantra comes back after you get out of this bye week, that our run defense gets back to where it needs to be.
I never thought I would be saying this, but I tell you what, the Giants' weapons concern me. Beyond Evan Ingram, Derek Slayton is a home run hitter. Sterling Shepard can go get it. Golden Tate is back after being benched for a game. And then you have Deion Lewis coming out of the backfield. So this team has enough chess pieces to win a lot of matches against this Eagles defense.
Yeah, you know what? Somebody could be benched?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. No, not on the Eagles. But on the
Giants. But I just think, who knew that happens in the NFL? But anyway, so, all right, cool. All right, so, you got some teams, some guys that's hungry, man. They do have some weapons out there. And when you look at our secondary, that's being kind of challenged a little bit. Slay has been balling, but everybody else, you're trying to get everybody else in stride. So, again, that's releasing the hounds will help when you can create that pressure. But now you need your secondary to hold up just enough to get your defensive front some time to get there. But, man, this is a group that has some talent out there.
How concerned are you about the Giants' defense against this Eagles offense? I mean, they're big and stout in the trenches and very active on the back seven.
Yeah, because, I mean, how many I think we gave up 3 or 4 sacks against them when we played from the last time. So, hopefully with our offensive line, everybody coming back, depending on what you have going on with Lane, depending on what you're doing with Isaac, how all of this is going to play out. Because, I mean, this is an active front, that can really get after it. So, we need to be on it. We need to be on it. And that's why I think that coming out of this bye week, everybody comes in healthy, maybe, hopefully this time off. And maybe that's why they only kept it at a walkthrough, because you wanted guys to have some fresh legs coming into this so that we can get back to work when you come out of this bye week and be ready to go on Sunday.
All right, now the moment of truth. Your prediction, sir, for Sunday's game.
I have no score, but I think we will win.
No. You pulled that last time. I want to score. You try to get out of it last time. I want to score.
All right, let's score. All right, let's see, man. How many points have we scored? Have we gotten in the 30s yet? I think we've gotten in the 30s once. So let's see, man. I go, 24. Let's go 24 or 13.
24.
win.
You think who wins though?
We win 24-13.
Okay, we 24-13. I think it's going to be a closer game just like it was the first time. I'm looking at 24-21, something like that, 23-21.
Okay.
I think the Eagles get the road win, but it may come down to the last possession again in this particular game.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Sounds
All right.
good.
That's going to wrap up this edition of Grilling the Birds, brought to you by Inside the Birds. Oh, by the way, you can hear every episode of Grilling the Birds and Inside the Birds podcast on the Inside the Birds podcast and YouTube platforms. Man, who are you, Darth Vader? Well, who is this?
Yes,
Is that the saber?
The
The
new and
Jedi
improved,
saber?
the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 with the new
If I ever
LED
see
lights.
if I ever see you wearing that thing as a headlamp, especially after you use it, I have no more respect for you after
I
that.
always clean my blades, man. I clean my blades. And
You better dip them in alcohol, formaldehyde, and everything else after that.
all my kids and all my boys, I make sure that they have their own. You know, we don't share nut trimmers. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's against the law.
Okay. All right. That's going to do it for this edition of Grilling the Birds. This show is almost out of control, but I'm going to rein it back in before this man goes off the deep end. For that crazy man right there, Trey Thomas, I'm Derek Gunn. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back here to talk to you again next week after the Birds game against the New York Giants. So long, everybody.
All right.